I mean, boy, do we have a panel. And don't you change the channel because it's going down. I'm going to introduce everybody here, starting with my co host, Zach. What's going on, my guy?
Will, what's going on, dude? Happy to be here as always. Just wanted to wish everyone a happy new year, a little bit of a belated happy holidays. I know it's always a big conversation. Like, is there a deadline in when you could say happy new year? Like, is it 3 days after the year, 4 days after the year? It's an interesting debate that I don't know what side you guys stand on, but happy belated new year to both you guys. And just really happy to be here as always. It's actually my first time on this show on the mic since the tragic Demar Hamlin injury on Monday night in Cincinnati. And I just wanted to say right off the bat, my thoughts and prayers are with his family. We hope he could get out, and we hope he's okay. And just a tragic scene, and my thoughts and prayers are with him and his family.
Absolutely. Prayers up to Demar Hamlin for sure once again. But we also got another guy on this show, I guess on this show. They call him NFL Mike because guess what? He's talking NFL on the mic. Okay, so my guy, how you doing? And feel free to plug yourself in.
Oh, yeah, you got it exactly. Yeah, if you guys want to follow me, it's NFL Mike on all platforms. I'm pretty easy to find. I think that we're approaching the deadline, maybe like 6-7 days. That's about the end of the New Year wishes. We're already in full steam in 2023. I'm pretty excited for 2023.
Absolutely. And make sure you follow him on Instagram at NFL Mike, right? I believe it's NFL Mike. You want to get all the updates and news as they're happening. So you don't want to tune in. My guy got to follow him. So make sure you tag along. And you know what? Big Mike, I'm going to call you Big Mike, right? I'm going to call you
That's
Big
fine.
Mike. You know, the thing that I appreciate, right, is I appreciate the grind that it takes to, create a platform and see it grow. Because, I've been pushing out content, me and Zach, since the days of college. So to see somebody doing the same thing and just, putting in the work as much as you do, I really commend that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is lead with effort. That's kind of the stuff that I learned when I was in the military. That's why I appreciate the beat in the beginning of the show as well, man. A little bit of Somewhere Over the Sea.
Absolutely. That's a classic tune right there. But anyway, we might as well begin the show with our first topic that we have right now at the bottom of your screen. How should the NFL handle the Bills and Bengals suspension? Okay, the suspended game. How should they handle it? And Big Mike, you being the guest, the mic is yours.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and like Zach said, first of all, prayers go out, and we're all in this situation now through what happened to Demar Hamlin a few nights ago. It's my first time talking on a microphone about it as well. That's all that matters in the grand scheme of things. Like, yes, they are going to have a conversation about what to do about this game and what to do about all the games going forward, because there is a pre this injury and a post this injury, and that's how significant it is. And there's moments in NFL history where there's before and after, and I really do feel that this is one of those moments. And it's been inspiring to see the outpour of support for the Hamlin family on social media. It actually makes me believe in humanity a little bit when you start to see a tragedy go down like this, and everyone collectively, not even just sports, come together to rally around one person. I feel like that would happen for any tragedy at equal value. So first of all, that's what matters more than anything. As far as the game itself, I think both of these teams are going to compromise here, and I think that it's going to end up being called a tie. I don't know where they're going to fit the game in to the schedule. If this would have happened in week 4, 5, 6, anywhere before week 10, it would be manageable to be able to find a place or a time or a bye week or something to fit this in. We have 2 weeks until the playoffs are supposed to start. I don't know when they're going to fit this game in, because both of these teams have games this weekend, and they're both very important games as well. I know that this game impacts the seeding, and everything is important about this game, and everyone was looking forward to this game. We may have to wait until the second round of the playoffs to get it again. A tie for both sides would screw over both sides' chances at the number 1 seed, but with the circumstances that we're in, like I said, I think that both teams will be willing to compromise here, and that nothing is more important than Demar Hamlin's health. And in their eyes, if this kid's okay, they don't care about a 1 seed, AFC championship, or even a Super Bowl.
Zach, the mic's yours.
Yeah, I think what puts the NFL in an interesting position is, as Mike said, the number 1 priority in all of this is Demar Hamlin's health. And I think the NFL, although it took a little long, they did make the right decision not continuing that game on Monday night. I don't understand or know how you could expect those players on the field after what just happened to go right back out there and continue playing. So I think the NFL made the right decision calling the game. And the one positive for me to come out of this is I got the opportunity to just learn a lot more about Demar Hamlin, the person, learning about his charity, which has already raised over $6 million when the goal was 2,500. That's just awesome to see. And I do agree with Mike. It's great to see everyone coming together and really acknowledging, like, okay, Demar Hamlin's health is the number one priority right now. But what puts the NFL in such an interesting position is I don't think they're not inclined to play really until they know what exactly happens with him. But at the same time, you could only wait so long because we have games scheduled for Sunday and you're going to have to make a decision eventually. So what I've heard a couple things being thrown out there. I think a tie would be fair and ideal. The only issue with that is it puts the Chiefs in a really good spot. All they would have to do is win on Saturday at the Raiders, and they would clinch the number one seed. And it puts the Bengals also like in not a terrible spot because they would win the AFC North because of this. So as like a tie, I think would be the easiest solution at first. But like when you put that much ramifications on the rest of the league, I don't know if you could do that. So the other thing I've heard thrown out there is the following, and I'm curious what you guys think about this. So everything goes on as normal this week, and that's one thing the NFL has announced is that the Bengals-Ravens game on Sunday will be taking place as scheduled. The Bills-Patriots game on Sunday will be taking place as scheduled. And then what the NFL is considering doing is in week 19, you have just the NFC playoffs, right, which haven't been affected by this. You have Bills-Bengals play the game, I would say in a neutral site. I don't think the NFL would make the Bills return to Cincinnati after everything that just happened. And then the rest of the AFC is off. And then the following week, week 20, it's the opposite. The NFC has their bye week. The AFC playoffs take place, the 3 games, and you just go as normal from there. So I think that might be what ends up happening, which is something unprecedented. It's something we've never seen before, but this whole situation is honestly unprecedented. And again, the number one priority is Demar Hamlin's health. And I'm interested to see how the NFL handles this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to respond to that, in a minute. I just want to, once again, yesterday we actually did a show. We spent about a good 18 minutes talking about this very topic. So, once again, I want to give my regards and my wishes, that he comes out this situation, unscathed, just comes out of the situation, right? Who knows if he is ever going to be the same, but we want to see him get a shot, at life again. So hopefully we'll see that. I do want to commend my guy, Zach Taylor, for the leadership that I saw on the football field. That's why he's a good coach. I know a lot of people, they talk about, maybe he's a little bit overrated as a coach, but the leadership I saw, that wasn't phony. You could tell he's a great leader in that locker room. And that's why he needs to be appreciated for how he was able to politic with Sean McDermott on numerous occasions, on and off the football field, at the sideline, right? On the sideline, on the field, by the locker room. I really commend his leadership. He really gets a lot of points for me for that, in particular. But as far as what the NFL should do, this is not my intel, kind of. You're moving out of my real estate here because they don't even know what to do. But anyway, I think for me, Zach and Mike, I would probably do it like this. Keep the week 18 as scheduled. And then I'm going to have week 19, but only for the Bills and the Bengals to have their rematch, which means everybody going to get a bye. Okay. And the wild card teams are going to get a bye. And then we'll, move the playoffs back a week and then we'll do the playoffs. Now, for the wild card teams, that's great because you get a bye. So actually, it's kind of like that rewarding thing for y'all. As far as the divisional teams, you're probably going to have 2 weeks off. So, it might hurt you there with the rhythm part. But I think that makes the most sense to me out of all the theories that people threw out there on the radio or that I heard, prior to me talking. I think that's the best one where you have an extra week, week 19, the Bills and the Bengals play, and you give all the wild card teams a bye. The teams that already have a bye will have an extra bye, and you move the playoffs back.
Yeah, man, it is so tricky. And that's a good idea. I mean, both those are good ideas. And if we're going to play the game, that's the best ideas, because what they can't do, and it's probably damn near impossible to do, is to move the Super Bowl back. That's pretty much impossible. They have 1 week in between the Super Bowl and when the NFC and AFC championships were originally scheduled. That 1 week is the only week that can be filled with something. And that would be moving everything back so they could play the game next week.
I don't think it's fair. And I'm not trying to be discounting of Demar Hamlin, but I don't think it's fair to the rest of the National Football League and all the teams that have implications. Like I just don't. This game has too much riding for you to say we're not gonna play it, okay? Or tie. Too much.
Well, yeah, it 100%. The result of this game affects the outcome of the playoffs. 100%.
Oh, it affects. It's almost like the bubble championship in the NBA. Who cares? Because it's not fair.
it does affect it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing with that would be like, I know it's not technically a game anymore, and I know when we see the name, we laugh because it's irrelevant to us, but like the NFL would have to move the Pro Bowl back, right? That Pro Bowl takes place right before the Super Bowl, and I know they make a lot of money off that event, so I don't even know if they would want to move that. I think
I'm fine without that. Okay, you can take that out. I'm good. Yeah. I don't even watch it anyway.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be at that. All right, let's
oh.
Let's keep the Pro Bowl going. Maybe we can do it after the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. But Lil, I'll ask you though, like, I don't hate the idea, like, off the bat, but the thing is, like, every other playoff team would have a bye, in some other cases maybe two, and the Bills and Bengals wouldn't, which would give them a clear disadvantage going into the playoffs. And I think that's what the NFL is really going to try to prioritize. And I think that's why the plan I brought up might make a little bit more sense, just because you're kind of making it a little bit more of an even playing field. Like if every other team besides these two teams went into the playoffs with a bye, if I'm the Bills and if I'm the Bengals, like I know not everyone in this situation is going to end up being happy, but I would be pretty upset because that's just a clear disadvantage to me. And if you do this, I'll repeat it again. Bills and Bengals play week 19. The rest of the AFC would have a bye week. And then in the NFC wildcard playoffs would also take place that same week. And then the following week, you have the AFC playoffs, and the NFC playoffs would be on bye. And then in the divisional round, everyone would be off a bye week and have a little bit of a more even playing field. So honestly, I think that's what might end up happening here. But again, I'm not sure.
And it's up to Roger Goodell to make that decision. But Zach, I'm ready. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it just feels impossible because the most fair way to do it is the most complicated way to do it, and the easiest way to do it is the least fair way to do it. And they have to try and find some kind of middle balance. Either way, I mean, the Buffalo Bills are already at a massive disadvantage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't even know they can recover from this.
That alone is going to be shocking and hard to recover from.
Like if the NFL gives you the option to move on and they just rule it a tie, so you wouldn't have to technically continue the game and you would be on the same playing field going into the playoffs as everyone else, would you be okay if you're these two teams taking the tie and really giving Kansas City a pretty solid shot to clinch the 1 seed? I guess if you're the Bengals, you would do it because you would clinch the division. So I wonder if the NFL would consider doing that, just ruling it a tie, like Mike brought up.
Yeah, and we don't know what the team's perspectives are on this. The Buffalo Bills could be saying we don't care about the game at all, for all we know. Well, that would be reasonable. That would be reasonable if they said that.
Absolutely, and plus, Kansas City, I mean, we're not going to just pencil them in. Like, I understand the Raiders are the Raiders, but let's say they lose, the Bengals have a shot to kind of play for a 1 seed. So like it's a lot of variables. I feel like I'm gonna lose my head if we stay on this any longer because it's just like, wow.